This episode of The Buzz is brought to you by HPE Discover 2026. Check out our full coverage of the event on channelbuzz.ca. You'll find our HPE Discover 2026 news hub in the menu bar at the top of the page. Welcome to The Buzz from channelbuzz.ca. I'm Robert Dutt. Today is Friday, June 19th, and here's what's happening in the channel today. I'm recording this a bit early in Las Vegas because I'm on a plane all day heading home from Discover. If you've been following our coverage this week, you know we've had a lot to unpack. Partner Growth Summit was on Monday, the Networking and AI Infrastructure keynote on Tuesday, and a steady drumbeat of announcements through Wednesday. For this episode, I want to do something slightly different. Think of it as a reporter's notebook. The details, the mechanics, and the candor that came out when HPE's channel leadership sat down with press on Wednesday morning off the keynote stage. Let's start with the quote validity extension, because the backstory here is as interesting as the policy change itself. HPE extended standard quote validity from 14 to 30 days for compute, storage, and GreenLake effective on Monday. You've already heard that. What you probably haven't heard is how closely they guarded it. Simon Ewington, who runs HPE's worldwide partner organization, told us Wednesday the change was a pretty well-kept secret. His own staff didn't know about it either. They wanted zero leaks because the commodity and supply chain volatility that has forced the 2-week window in the first place had finally moderated enough that HPE could stand behind a 30-day window with confidence. Keeping it quiet meant announcing it without hedging. For partners who've been managing customer decision cycles that simply don't fit with a 14-day window, the relief was audible. The Partner Growth Summit was dense enough that Ewington admitted partners told him it was almost too much and they needed an AI summary to recap everything. So let me pull on the operational details that actually affect how you navigate the program. First, the Juniper integration. We now have tier mapping. Juniper Elite Plus goes to HPE Platinum, Elite to Gold, Select to Silver, effective November 1. HPE is also launching a routing competency, number 15 in the framework to support the transition. Second, multipliers. HPE introduced a 3x multiplier on software sales for Zerto, Morpheus, and OpsRamp, plus a 1.5 times multiplier on GreenLake to help partners hit higher membership tiers faster by weighting software more heavily than hardware. Third, smart choice SKUs, pre-configured servers that ship missing the hard drive. It's a speed and velocity play for distributors. Fourth, the competitive storage takeout. HPE has identified 14,000 target customers for what they're calling the VH-Rail opportunity. Its Electra MP platform is outpacing market growth by nearly 2x, and they're backing the migration with 0% financing for 3 years. These aren't marketing headlines, they're details that determine whether you can actually make money on the portfolio. Then there were the moments of genuine candor. Ewington said that HPE is the vendor that typically moves first, and then others polish. It's either confidence or arrogance, depending on your perspective, but it's not ambiguous. You may have seen recently that HPE formally announced its 2 main global distributors as Ingram Micro and TD SYNNEX. The distributor overlap reality is worth noting. Only about 10% overlap between HPE and Juniper distributors. HPE is actively refining the landscape rather than forcing every distributor to carry everything. That's a concession that operational integration takes time and care. On services, HPE is expanding partner-branded services so partners can take level 1 and 2 support relationship while HPE stays in the background for level 3 and 4. Ewington said this largely came about because there have been some large partners who've declined to get closer to HPE because of the company's previous reticence to allow partners to lead on services around its gear. For service providers specifically, leadership cited 23% to 30% CAGR growth rates, and they're opening cloud ops software to CSPs to build new services around. And on sustainability, which came up in the context of AI's energy demands, HPE has built an insight dashboard that lets partners analyze customer environments and open conversations about carbon footprint and efficiency. It's a practical tool rather than a vague pledge. If there's a through line to the week, it's that HPE is trying to make the power of one mean something operationally, not just rhetorically. The quote validity change was a trust repair, the multiplier and tier mapping were structural incentives, the distributor and services refinements are admissions that integration is hard and it takes time. Whether it all lands as promised is what we'll be watching through the second half of the year. That's it for this edition of The Buzz. You can find our full HPE Discover 2026 coverage on channelbuzz.ca. There's a news hub in the main menu bar at the top of the page. And we'll also have more episodes of In the Channel from Discover next week here on the site, including more HPE executives and more reactions from Canadian HPE partners. That's how we're seeing the headlines from HPE Discover. I'm Robert Dutt for channelbuzz.ca. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.